minutes ago we saw a lovely low pass, and something that we need to mention, I feel like, is something that's not seen on the cameras probably, but there is a quite significant crosswind component to the landing, so we are going to be seeing some very good piloting skills.
Absolutely so. Slight aligning, the gears down, touchdown's imminent. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new world record.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mack is now officially the youngest person to circumnavigate the world by microflight solo and the youngest person to circumnavigate the world by aircraft solo. There he comes into the taxiway. He's just about to park, and do remember that Mack was only 16 when he began his journey around the world. Now he's 17 when he's landed and is officially beaten 2 world records. He started exactly here 5 months ago on the 23rd of March. Applauses from the crowd as Mack is about to leave the aircraft. Now Zara, his sister, has given Mark officially the certificate of the Guinness World Records for the youngest person to circumnavigate the world by aircraft solo. And now Dimitr, the owner of ICDSOFT, has given the official Guinness certificate for the youngest person to circumnavigate the world by microflight solo.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Bulgaria, Mack.
Thank you very
And
much.
congratulations on your 2 world records.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here after 5 long months, but extremely fun and cool months. Yeah, it's amazing to finally be here again and to have done my goal. It took a bit longer than I had hoped for, but it was a very exciting, very interesting trip, and I don't regret at all going on it.
How do you feel having stepped off the plane?
Incredible, but I must be honest, it's a bit of a mixed feelings because I'm still enjoying the plane hugely. I still love flying, and so for my trip to be at an end now is definitely equally exciting as, I don't know, frustrating.
Did you have a hard time landing with this crosswind?
It was a bit tricky, but not too. It was fine. A long runway, completely fine.
Nothing you can't deal with, isn't it?
Yes.
Were there any difficulties during your flights?
So actually, just this flight, I had a bit of difficulty over the mountain near Sofia. Just had to find my way around the clouds. I eventually was able to find a valley which was empty of clouds and was able to fly through there. But throughout my whole trip, there have been lots of difficulties, and in all lots of different types of difficulties as well.
So you have, in the past 5 months, flown over 30,000 miles, visited over 50 countries in 4 continents, and set 2 world records. Is that right?
Yes, I believe that's all correct, except it's 30 countries, not... but no, it's... yeah, I believe that is correct, so yeah.
So I don't believe anyone can, well, apart from your sister probably, but anyone else on your age can be proud of accomplishing that achievement. What will you say to young people around the world that have dreams such as yours?
Just follow your dreams. So there are many points in my journey where it would have been easy to give up, and most people would probably have suggested that. But I kept going even when it seemed like I wouldn't even be able to make it to the end. Wouldn't be able to finish my trip. And we ended up finding a solution to it, and I was able to continue my journey to the end. And so basically just work hard and push forward with your dreams, no matter how old you are. Just keep moving forward and your dreams will eventually come true. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And is there any sibling rivalry?
No, I would say not, because I basically got the entire idea from my sister Zara. I've always loved flying, but it never at all crossed my mind to fly around the world, so definitely not.
And I'm sure she was very supportive.
Yeah, she was extremely supportive.
Shall we get a round of applause for her? I don't know where she is. Yeah. But there you are. Well, welcome to Bulgaria, and we're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be here.
My first question is, did you use a bottle or a bag?
Neither. So throughout my whole trip, I actually was very strategic. So I would go to the go drink a lot of water in the evening and drink nothing the next day, and I didn't have to go to the loo once.
Absolutely, that's the thing to do, because otherwise, when I was young, some friends, they had to do some glider stuff, like take some time up, and then they were throwing the bags out of the window, and it was all coming back in their faces.
Yeah.
Good thing is, tell me about your training. How did you prepare for this thing, mentally and physically? A few words, just about a few words.
So of course, a lot of flying beforehand, but the main thing I did was 2 transatlantics with my dad, and that really helped me because he could explain things to me, and I could also fly through one of the most difficult parts of my journey and already get a groundwork of how it was going to be.
Actually, I meant physical, like fitness training, because it's very important. Fatigue must be a big issue with all this stuff. Of course, you're a young guy, you know, just about to develop and everything, but you're so slim. Where did you store all this energy?
Well, so the main thing is just to keep pushing forwards. I learned a lot beforehand in the transatlantics as well, mentally. But the most I could learn from was actually on the trip itself. And a big part is just to keep going. You have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning the next day. Just make sure you can go to sleep at 8 o'clock or even earlier the night before. It's just about planning and pushing forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick?
And after we've talked about the physical preparation, what about the mental preparation? Is it not insane to be alone in that flight deck for 5 months?
Yeah, you'd be surprised because you're always busy doing something, even if it's just checking the engine temperatures, making sure everything's okay, or even just looking around, seeing what's around you. There are very few moments where I had absolutely nothing to do, and those moments were often over the Indian Ocean. Other than that, there was always something to do, something to go for, and that surprisingly keeps your mind busy and doesn't make you go crazy.
But, and that stays between us here, I promise, did you catch yourself at any point looking through the window and not at your instruments?
When I was in cloud or something like that?
Or forgetting about checking something?
No, not really. The thing is, in flying, it's very rare that you have a problem that needs to be answered in 5 seconds. If the engine temperatures go into the red, of course you need to find a way quite quickly, but there's never a situation where you'll be able to, well, or very rarely a situation where you'll be able to save yourself with 5 seconds. It's just about, it's very different to in a car, for example.
And during those 5 months, how did you keep in touch with your team and your friends?
So when I was on the ground, I would try to get Wi-Fi wherever I could, but then in the air, I would use, well, I had 2 things. So I had what's called a yellow brick and an Iridium Go. The yellow brick tracks where I am, so wherever I am in the world, they can always track where I am. So even if I'm over the middle of the Pacific, they know exactly where I am, and if anything happens, they can send help. And the Iridium Go, allows me to contact anyone wherever they are in the world. So I could message or even call my parents or ops team in the middle of the Pacific, and it would be completely fine. So that's basically the main forms of communication.
Look, I'm gonna say your shoe size is a bit too small, but nevertheless, you have stepped into the shoes of guys like Exupery, like Lindbergh, like Roland Garros. How do you feel? Can you feel actually these shoes of these guys, being an adventurer like them?
Thank you very much. I'm flattered. I can't say exactly. You never know yourself. But I just hope to strive forwards and do the best I can.
I just wish to say a couple more words about your family, to congratulate them for having you, a guy like this who managed to succeed in such a big, risky event. It's all about adventure. You must tell everybody around this world that they have to have dreams. The dreams do not stop in front of a computer screen or a smartphone screen. Dreams are like that, to be dreamt and to be fulfilled.
Yeah, so that's really what the message I'm trying to show with this journey. But also, my family are huge in this, so they really helped me before and during my whole trip, and also my ops team. So Megan was very, very helpful as well. It's a team effort.
Coming from a family of adventurers, I asked your father about red lines. He didn't say there were any. What do you think now? Can you confess? Were there any red lines?
What do you mean by red lines?
Things that you shouldn't do, or you should do actually.
I don't really know what you mean. Sorry.
I'll tell you. Like I asked your father, like you shouldn't land with less than a gallon of fuel, or something like this. The red lines.
In terms of fuel, actually, we were always very careful. So for my Pacific flight, even though I would probably be able to make the US with my turtle pack alone, we added two 25-liter tanks, which gave me another 2.5 hours, just to be safe. And so that's how you keep yourself safe and be able to do a big adventure at the same time. Of course, you always get caught off guard when you're in the air. For example, weather might be a bit worse or something happened that you didn't expect. We've just got to try and work around that and find a solution.
Okay, maybe in the future there will be aircraft that won't land for a long time, but now everybody has to land. Have you ever considered gliding? Have you done like gliding training? Is this a good glider actually?
Yes, it's a pretty good glider. I've never really done gliding itself, but I'm halfway through my paragliding license, but that's been put on hold for about 2 years now because of just flying.
No, I meant gliding like a contingency, you know. If you have, when you run out of fuel.
No, it's very good at gliding. Basically, what you do is over the ocean, you fly relatively high, and over mountains as well.
One last thing I would like to mention is, after all, it's a huge adventure, but you trained a lot in every respect. You should tell the guys that nobody ever should try something as adventurous without proper training. Yeah?
Yes, of course. So it's all about preparation. If I had just gotten my license, I would never have done something like this. You need more. You need to put in the effort beforehand, and also during your journey. It's not just the journey itself that matters.
Nick?
How did it feel to transit through so many cultures, so many time zones, and how did you feel when you met all the people that you've met throughout your journey?
So it was incredible how in one flight, 4 hours later, I could be in a completely different place and with completely different people. And that was really amazing. In terms of time zones, that could get quite confusing and quite disorienting at times. So I remember the biggest point of that was when I was flying from the Pacific again, from Japan to the US. I think I traveled 4 hours, and so I landed at 11 o'clock or something like that in Attu Island, but it's far north, so it's still a bit light. and I was completely awake. I still had lots of energy, and it was just extremely weird, the situation where I had lots of energy and it was the middle of the night.
And actually, with him, we talked about jet lag. How was that for you? Did it crumble you at any point?
It's because I wasn't traveling through time zones very quickly. It was less so, but I think it was more hidden. So I would often do 1 or 2 hours later on, but that would mean that it was just a little bit more difficult to wake up in the morning and things like that. It was never the 7-hour flight, 7-hour time zone change that you might get in a big jet.
And we heard something about the desert island. Can you share something with us about that?
So yes, when I landed in Japan, I landed in the US. My first stop was Attu Island, which is a completely deserted island in the North Pacific Ocean. And so I landed there. It was quite dark. It was low clouds, raining. It was quite difficult to see, but I saw a small shed on the side of the runway, parked next to it, and went in there, slept for the night on like a small broken down sofa. And the next day I got out and looked around the island. It's actually an amazing island. So it's this quite big, actually, not too small island with absolutely no one, nothing, just grass and quite a few seagulls. And it was amazing to look around this deserted island because there were buildings, but no one had been in them in 10 years. So it was really weird to just go around this place where no one else was.
And I'm quite interested in the maintenance of this plane. Did you do any maintenance on it?
I didn't do any proper maintenance myself, so anywhere basically I could get a mechanic, we would get someone to check and make sure everything was okay. And that's basically how we maintained it. So we would do the 50-hour or 100-hour checks and just make sure everything's okay with the plane on the way. Just my last stop, actually, Slovakia, is where they make the Shark. So of course we had them look through the entire plane, make sure everything's okay, and they did a really good job.
And no emergencies, I guess?
No emergency landings, no nothing like that.
Danny?
I think that's about all. We need to give you a break now, a pee break. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure, young man. I wish you all the best. Anything that can be achieved on an aircraft, with an aircraft, paraglider, whatever. Just keep safe. Safe landings. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.